Sheri, I wanted to ask you about break the cycle as a theme for 2021. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to IBM Watson and the Weather Channel? And what are you guys doing to break the cycle yourselves?
Yeah, so first of all, Andy, great to see you. As we think about breaking the cycle, we really think about the evolution that needs to happen in the advertising industry. And I look at it in four things that we need to break. One, we need to break the cycle on being so dependent on the walled gardens. We also need to break the cycle as it relates to identifiers and cookies disappearing. To that vein, we also need to break the cycle as it relates to over targeting consumers. And then lastly, we need to break the cycle in paying for tech fees for services that we simply just don't need. And so I think there's just a lot of change that needs to happen in the advertising industry, and we need that evolution. It's not going to happen if we keep doing the same things, if we keep using the same tech and expecting different results, which we desperately need. And we feel, and I feel that that big evolution is really grounded in AI.
So tell us about that, about AI, what you're doing at the company and the implications it might have for changing things.
So we believe AI is the backbone for the advertising industry. And we've actually created a suite of products that solve all different kind of marketer issues and problems, different solutions. It kind of runs the gamut. So depending on what the marketer needs, whether it's around new types of creative or touching consumers in the social space or using data, we've created a suite of products that can solve those problems without using cookies, without using identifiers. And AI, IBM has used AI for many, many years to transform certain industries, certainly around financial and insurance. And we feel advertising industry is really the next big industry that can really benefit from that technology. When I look at AI, it's really about looking forward. So cookies and identifiers, they tell marketers what has happened in the past. We need to know what's happening in the future. And so when you can take AI, you can take all of this data that a lot of marketers are sitting on, a lot of publishers are sitting on, and look at that data in a different way to produce insights, to be predictive. It really comes up with some really consumer privacy forward solutions that I think are going to be really great for the industry going forward.
And in terms of other applications of AI in advertising, I mean, there are many. Could you list a couple of others that you think are important that the industry tackles?
AI has so many different uses. So again, it can evolve the creative that an advertising agency or a marketer uses. It's almost looking at dynamic creative, but it goes far beyond that because it goes into being predictive. It goes into actually generating insights that then marketers can use. We can leverage AI with different data sets. So if I look at myself as a publisher, because I also have the Weather Channel, we have a lot of different weather data that we can marry up with retail data. So we just announced a partnership with Nielsen. We can look 15 days out and look at consumer buying behavior 15 days out to be predictive to help marketers better spend their money in that space. And so data is going to be really important. In the future, we're looking at contextual. How do we, use AI to really advance the contextual marketing space as well? And so there's really just a lot of different areas that touch points across the advertising industry where we see AI being beneficial. Attribution is another one.
Sheri, what do you see as some of the factors that have sort of changed outside of technology itself, but and outside of, and around this whole, the pandemic, of course, social injustice, regulatory issues, GDPR, CCPA, what's some of the broader impacts of these social and political changes?
Well, certainly privacy and consumer privacy is probably the biggest upheaval that we are facing. And as you mentioned, it's coming from legislation. We saw it with GDPR, CCPA, and now new legislation coming out of California as well. And actually, there's a lot of states that are looking into privacy legislation. And so that's the biggest upheaval. What we really need to do is really have a federal legislation around privacy. Otherwise, we're getting this patchwork from all the different states, which is going to be really hard to scale, really hard for publishers to, to scale that type of legislation. So a federal footprint would be better. And, it's the right thing for the consumer. We need to make sure that consumers feel comfortable with the data that they're sharing, and that they understand what that data is being used for. So I think that's really the biggest challenge the industry has. On top of the legislation, then you have the changes that big tech partners are putting in. We're seeing that with Apple, with the change with IDFA, with Google, with cookies. So we need to get to an era where we are not dependent on cookies and identifiers to help marketers connect better with consumers.
Sheri, when you look at your colleagues, business leaders in the industry who are really making impressive moves that we should be watching, who would you like to cite?
So what I think is interesting about innovation, especially as far a publisher perspective or any company perspective, is innovation companies that are doing things in the right way are usually companies that are not doing it first, right? They're looking at something. Apple's a great example. They weren't the first to create a mobile device, but they've just done it better. And so I think companies that are looking to see, what problems they can solve are the companies that are really innovating. I think a great example overall is Netflix. They have reinvented themselves time and time again. They started with, first bringing out digital entertainment to people. Now they've evolved to say, okay, digital distribution isn't enough for my business. Now we have to actually create the content because there's so much competition. And they continue to reinvent themselves and they continue to evolve. And that's exactly what we need to do within the advertising industry as well. And so it's not that as a solution, we're coming in and finding necessarily new problems, but we are finding ways to better solve problems with advanced technology like AI.
And when you look at sort of breaking the cycle, what you guys are doing, of course, the partnership with BTV that we're excited about this year, what do you see, what do you hope the message of IBM Watson is to the industry? Where do you hope things go in terms of breaking the cycle, as you call it?
So I think the overarching message for me is it's time for us to evolve. It's time for us to leap forward with advanced technologies. We've been working with the same traditional identifiers and cookies for a long time, really since programmatic came into play almost 10 years ago. It's time that we break the cycle. It's time for something new, something that can better connect a marketer with their consumer, and AI solves that. It also is privacy forward and it is open technology. So everyone can use it across the entire ecosystem to drive their business. And I really think it's going to be really fun to dig in and really see what this powerful technology can do and how it can really drive our business. So innovation is always exciting. And I think AI is a great platform that everyone in our industry should be looking for. And I hope that we start seeing some adoption more quickly. There's definitely education that's needed to help marketers and agencies really understand what AI can do for them. And we're starting to see that in some of the beta programs that we're putting out as IBM Watson Advertising. And marketers, their eyes are lighting up with the results that they're seeing. And so I think this is just going to grow as we go into the future, especially, into 2021. I think that's going to be really important with all the privacy changes that will continue, and with cookies going away the following year. So it's a right time for us to be introducing a new backbone to the advertising industry.